no say anwumre no sia bremu kase bo ya to dey say Paramount do say Great Commission Television eso nsam no ya bo no tofa aso ni nyina e de bremu anwumre na de betum akotepi and say Mampani John Dramani Mahama e de atodwaye a wo kire say abibremu ha say mpanifo wo mo hwe say wo man a wo mu buo no enema nyina e betumi akọ wano e de ama temamfo
Yadobeko MPP abanyo kodo womo echema sesedi womo ebia to honom de opeso gina to franka de ma womo bia no womra na omefa krata no ebi
asrafo ayen seseye e de enipa makomako ahannan apiemu e wo boko se womo nkohwe e masumdwe emra honom
Yadobeko bujumburam na de hyenoma e wo honom e kiremu a e ba ne gates akodo ba bia nsuo tokra be fa no bi ni honom enti animu ya aban ene ne mpanifo ebeboa wo mo
ensam bi e kawe ho ene gidie wo ena fa mahodo so ensam ka ho bi ena do hwe ba kontamu yi ye bebo akire ene nyina amamu edi mo aseda emma gosim travel and to beboa mo akontusem nyina agina brane kama edi amawo ena gad e ya pause enwure mo sanka bi nemu awo se de be ya wo se e ho be eten pa Eden Hills Residential Services ka ho afi Hola Sevilla Heba Center wo nyina ka ho bie ena afi afoforo bie ena wo mo boys ka famu a den sami e ba be som wo kenkafo a wo hwe anwumre yi me o ma hene Kofi Asempa mene
na ne kwia atwereba a tebusha ye ntwa ye ho nkomra ye ba ye de sam no nchemo e pesomo ye ba sisia
Absaya sansamana se edi free Mampani John Dramani Mahama na so ye na Mampani ekokasa ye ewo 13th high level dialogue ewo democracy human rights and afi governance in Africa na jumoti ya se Mampani ekasa no aditudwa wo kire se bana abibrem ha se yi a wo mo aye aman empanifo ahodo no wo mo hwe se wo mudwumadi aye a wo mudie se aman empanifo no ebetumi akọ wano pa na de beboa ene se ma wo mo nye wo ho kanka bi wo mo makwan emu bibia entumi enkyere nadwen emfa wo mamamu ho esanse eyakamamin ka bi eno ena yedi ho dwuma se ko ba se bia wo manfo bi pese wo mo ye kyere wo manfo bi pese wo mo ye tetena ni nyina wo mo makwan se de be ye betumi aye enye se bia wo mo kwakoye no na de asrafo na ekotata wo mo dabi ense se wo mo ye sadi eno achi wo mo makwan emansem trofo so bia entumi enka nadwen ense se obi hye obi ubia enya ne manfo se de be ya ubetumi aka na adwensan se kamam nka biamamuo ena yedi so eno ena wo kyerekye mu a Mampani kyere se koba ne se yi a ebema ubia anya ne fa hudie ewo oman bia mu se de be ya bibremu hanse so yenso ebetumi afa yentoma pa afra
and prime ministers, former prime ministers, to acknowledge our acting chief justice, former chief justice, ministers of state, our traditional leaders, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen who have assembled here this morning. It's with profound honor and heartfelt warmth that I welcome you all to Accra, the historic capital of Ghana, the cradle of Africa's independence struggle, and the spiritual home of Pan-Africanism. And our Foreign Minister added, welcome to the center of the earth. He didn't go on to explain why, but it's that the meridian and the equator intersect in Ghana's territory, and that's why we say it's the center of the earth. We're very privileged to host the 13th high-level dialogue on democracy and human rights, governance, peace, and security, an essential forum at a defining moment in Africa's development trajectory. This year's dialogue, convened under the theme Justice, Rights, Reparations, and State Building, reaffirms our shared commitment to confronting the structural challenges that continue to shape Africa's condition. It reflects our collective will to advance democracy, uphold human rights, strengthen governance, and ensure peace and security for the people of our continent. It also affirms our conviction that true and lasting peace can only be achieved when justice exists, when the rights of our people are respected, and when governance systems are truly inclusive, accountable, and are owned by the people that they serve. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, this dialogue could not have come at a more appropriate time. For far too long, the architecture of African states has rested on foundations imposed during a colonial era that neither understood nor respected our histories, our culture, or our aspirations. The enduring legacies of slavery, colonial exploitation, systemic racism, and economic subjugation are still visible today in the arbitrary borders that divide our peoples, in the financial hardships imposed by unjust global systems, and in the fragile governance systems, institutions that we're still struggling to strengthen. We gather here not only to examine this painful past, but also to shape a different and a better future for our continent, where African agency, sovereignty, and dignity are restored and respected. A future where state building is informed by our context, shaped by our people, and owned by our African communities. Ghana is honored to contribute to this continental vision. From the bold Pan-African ideals of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, our first president, to our current engagement on reparative justice and democratic consolidation, Ghana has always stood at the forefront of the struggle for African dignity, unity, and self-determination. We believe that unity is our historical imperative and our most effective instrument for achieving justice and prosperity. The Ghanaian people remain committed to building a continent where no one is left behind and every voice is heard and valued.
Hadishibamba, there was Sajuedia, Elho, and Minister Edema Foreign Affairs on Monya for Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa, but also Abra when you're simply pa, na Wakasa, Edia Chagana this year, any impo and Peniphobia Betracia, Edwedian Ase, and what they two Penifo, and you say, one more dear, a bibi mine, I would do a treasure, and we are Shafanana, and woman share, now woman call for a tea woman my moo. Simple Ghana say, Nanka Timamufono. Yeah, right, you know, and when you papa, I and walk a bit here said my penny and in pen form betty masher. Now, what my boy, or say, no, and come here, said, and conform you a honoma or my Ghana mukurati. When I'm one of them would name the right, and to be a yenny bibukra when to me just a word yet. A Mianca summer right, I was a bit me any say. Nina know I was a penny for no a share, not one more a church and conform being your ma any so. I feel so your mamma dear say, bet me, I bought ye right in a who buy it. Nina know a penny for no and I am confirm one more. Or see a nay or beat me with your baby, or ye be a bones will be a cotwash and a sunina no, and come home and mark your democracy, and I say, Mammy Kebia Memono, and when any man who be here. Share a baby my a moon for no best original. Nasanya Mawinano, one more etime ashe aka.
This conference to go beyond conventional dialogue. May it provide a distinguished platform for the exchange of innovative ideas, facilitate open and sincere discussions, and cultivate a collective commitment to nurturing an African continent where rights are respected, voices are heard, justice is upheld, the democratic dividend is consciously harnessed, and opportunities are created for the many and not the few. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we must do this mindful of the global backdrop where efforts to address such matters in international circles have often been hampered by a lack of political will, moral courage, and oftentimes outright resistance by our detractors. To this conference to go beyond conventional dialogue, may it provide a distinguished platform.
Everywhere now, Yanko and San Fufro Emu. A Boaka South and Masebejani, a Yurumyan for Kingsley Ajimai. Oko and Masebejafia Basukoya. One more a share up with this one, where ranking member, a war Sa Ekui Eswo. Now, Wakasa, ya what I say. se wohwe empos yare ya ate se ewo man mu a kame se aban ayi nani wo ho ya won kasa wo ho kra nanso wohwe de ekoso yi a se anomanim yi aban etumi ekasa wo ho pa na ntentem so pa otumi ebo no ho modern se de beye na ebetumi aboa ama wo man mu nipa nyina ada wo ho so se yade yi ha dwene wo se yenya cases makomako ha nu ya enipa no bie ba ko pe na etumi afiri mu ya ekyere se animanim ye wo se etumi bo amane mu manfo da wo ho so pa no ene wo sira aban ne se animanim ye aban yi enkasa wo ho.
The mpox, I would say it's very abysmal. Let's not joke with our health, especially when viral conditions are involved. You see, if I ask you now, you are among the top 1% best media houses in Ghana. If I ask you now, what are the mpox protocols? Go straight away to the streets of Kokomemle and do a quick survey and ask them the Ghanaian knows what they should even do to control mpox. It is escalating now. Over 200 cases with 1 death. I think the government has been quite too withdrawn from the action. Health promotion has not been well dealt with. You know, when it comes to health promotion, one has to be very intentional. The government has not been intentional. I'm asking you, friend, what health promotional material has been brought to your station to broadcast? And for mpox, it is quite clear these people can be isolated and dealt, treated, and discharged. My constituents are not aware. It has not even come to the Parliamentary Health Select Committee on Health, and the Ghanaian does not know. I think the government has not been very forceful. The government has not even set it very well through its ministry or the Ghana Health Services. A lot of promotion needs to be done. The disease is surging. Over 200 cases. Last week alone, 23 were recorded. So I think we have to do more. There should be more action. There should be more deliberations. There should be a lot of talk. There should be a lot of talk about. We all saw how COVID was handled in this country. COVID protocols, the presidency, the president himself, His Excellency, and now addressing Ghanaians every time with his favorite fellow Ghanaians. Mpox is escalating. People are dying. If recorded 1 death, over 200 cases. The disease cannot be left the way it has been handled. The government should do more. The health of the nation is very, very important. Health promotion is very key. The government should promote this thing. That should be.
Hemisha free apomudimu semuna yenko and some fufro emu. Enche bia and also for Shagana Yesika Samo and Samoso, Ayon Wenya for Atofo Senkopia Mumba Sipidum. Now, Audit 2025, a year budget review, Eco to dry or bottom. But Chirema buying by the one home de pie year, Apua, Atotonia May was here economy no, say a general nice papa pie year, a band year city news was said there, a peke or honoma. Dollar you crowd went to me and yan won a shade. And I'm sure Emma additional ABH or my dream at their home. And then NPP Amanyo Konodom Kuma Wabra Sebejum, and some 12 and Shemu. Now, a Shemudiano, I say. And I ain't can or so for no share sika somehow and some so on when you're for I am Mohammed Amin Adam Ekasaye and I watch them say said dear NDC Amanyo Kwe 1 more eka 1 month some now one mujina baby or economy near by a managing a faco say ye dear that it's near my so and near my echo ye now 1 more catcher Ghana 4 and I was say send your money in ano a MPP Amanyo Kwe 1 more year or honum 1 more year giant 2024 Ninano 1 more year to 1 month son 1 be free no emu entino se ba ne se NDC wo mo kire mu se bosumin sia yantam ana wo mo dia ya sa dia yitia ene wo mo kire mu ya propaganda enya no kura nya wo mo ana toto nneoma yie wo mo ba be free su nyina na bibia koye na sidi na peke dada enti ma eya ora to forcing e ma megina ho no mo no meta ne ho se wo mo ana ba be toto nneoma yie wo se sa nneema no kura bia enimu wo mo na yeye ne mom enye NDC amanyokuo no ene yeye ene semtwefo enhyiemo ase enkane photo samfo edema ban Ghana ora mi nadam ne sema ode to dwa enie
is both analytically flawed and institutionally damaging. For example, the minister was upbeat about this government achieving accumulated gross international reserves of $11.12 billion, covering 4.8 months of imports as at the end of June 2025, compared to $8.98 billion, covering 4 months of imports as at the end December 2024. And I'm quoting the minister. This is what he said during the presentation of the mid-year budget. But what the minister did not tell the people of Ghana is that the $11.12 billion is not completely a new accumulation. It includes the $8.9 billion inherited from the MPP government. The only new addition was $2.2 billion. But if he's comparing 11.1 billion versus 8.9 billion, it is as if they accumulated $11.1 billion. And we left office with $8.9 billion. But that is not the case. The 11.12 billion includes the 8.9 billion that they are seeking to undermine. Ladies and gentlemen, we may want to ask the minister and the Bank of Ghana what they did with the extra $2.8 billion brought in by Gold Board. Because they said also in the media review that the Gold Board brought in $5 billion. So if you inherited $8.9 billion and the Gold Board brought in $5 billion United States dollars, then the international reserve, the gross international reserve, should not be 11. It should be more than 11. So there's an extra 2.8 billion. The minister was silent on that. We want to know what happened to that. Why is it not part of the reserves, the international gross international reserves of the country? But this is also because we know all along that the Bank of Ghana has been pre-financing the gold purchases by the Gold Board. In any case, we are not sure about the level of scrutiny the Gold Board is subjected to. Whereas the minister stated that in the first half of 2025 alone, gold exports from the small-scale sector stood at 51.5 tons, with an export value of $5 billion. That is first half of the year. President Mahama, on the other hand, said recently, when he launched the Gold Board Task Force, if you recall, that Ghana earned $5 billion from nearly 52 tons. So the minister is talking about 51, the president is talking about 52, up to May, while the minister is talking up to July. So there is apparent contradiction between what the minister has said and what His Excellency the President said. This apparent contradiction between the President and his finance minister calls for proper scrutiny of the work of the Gold Board. On the exchange rate situation, the minister indicated that, and we all heard it. He said, "Sidinu apiki." That's what he said, isn't it? The developments in the foreign exchange market under this administration are deeply troubling. We are witnessing persistent arbitrage between the interbank market and the Forex Bureau, alongside a growing scarcity of foreign exchange. Perhaps the minister should know that, yes, Sidinu apiki, but Abochi get the dollar.
I'm saying, Yentwaso na Yankoyanim, Yadianitemu, Ewoboko, and an importemu. Na Santam na ubi enim so, Chinwaso ya peja mu oboko and importemu dienka, bibia to ye, Yahundi, na Simon Muso. Ya try was a proof, just say Patomba be and pata, and I'm so. Ama, o may more asraf why and said that said yes, ya dear. A positive phone to me, no, it's asraf one wa. And as I say, Womoko, you was rough when be ya womo, a what if you don't mante mu honmo, womo ye juma, womo, and a source or no cra. Nene, and I'm penify, member any money, I say. As rough one Macumako, a hanai, and sign and go can womo, what if you don't mante mu honmo. Na womonko boasa de beya, a whole ye a bit me apa, na fe, a ding, a bit to a man to call mocono, womo to me a jay. Na Chief of Army Staff, Major General Lawrence. Kwaku betano wono enene sentro bonko ba wo kire se we kura no na wo mo wo dwuma bia ese se wo mo kodi watifi do mantem ho dada ye no eye training ahodo wo mtaye Into we beto so no me say ah ye twa vuam na to nkwan mu ne omom rai na dodo mu omum pie mu ho se de be ya ometumi aboa amantoko amani mu so no wom di ye ebeto ye wo ho.
Thank you very much. Over the period, we all noted that the situation developed in the Boku Genoa area and its outlying areas. And there's the need for us to sanitize the place. For this time around, we all know that the peacekeeping duties that we were performing over there have been reviewed to peace enforcement. And the curfew also reviewed starting at 1400 hours to the following morning 0600 hours. That gives the military the leverage to actually undertake some specific operations over there to sanitize the area. But before then, the Ghana Army, and for that matter, the Ghana Armed Forces, started some preparation for a training exercise that was supposed to be held in this area. So just before the weekend, actually, troops started moving to the exercise area, and then the mobilization started. And it was around this same weekend that the situation developed in the Boku Genoa area. So as a professional Ghana Army and then the Ghana Armed Forces, with troops mobilized for training exercise, we just reviewed that training exercise to get the troops redeployed for this real operation to deal with the situation that has emerged at the Boku Genoa area regarding the killings that we experienced over the weekend. This time around, we have marshaled enough of our forces from Southern Command, Central Command to join their colleagues in Northern Command, and we have enough formidable force to undertake whatever operations we have in Boku and any other area that we assess will need some intervention. Thank you very much.
When I am for your ninchemo, and one manual selm emu. MPP Amanyo Kono and the Robert two dresser, General was ready that at also at the Asaba, Coffin Penuni at Duno Asia. Which 31st January 2026 and a one better banner impo. Where you will be a betty Mekuta Franca, Ediama Womo, and Wafin Pinone at Duno, what Chabatua, Yeba Betuno Emu. Nano and a nay, 1 more year, some for a shamu. And Shamudena say, and a church for penny Edema Manu Quay. And yet, or Justin Codia from Pont, Ekasaye, and a watch him with a say, Edie. 1 more a beer, a quina to honor with free and nay ya. And the Cocosi August was when it at also at Juno and what tree. So be a wire crowd or so Begina, say Antonio Soba, na empoko him Franca and Fama Manu Kono, Wamra and Mefa Krata. Wachiremwa wo ba be fakra chano epia ene sika ubetiano 100,000 Ghana cedis eno no kracha na oba be fa nomination form no eno no wo wie enso na wo ko file for final na eno so 500,000 Ghana cedis entinu se wo ko dia na ene obi a wani je ho pa amanyokuo no wani je so be ba be fakra chano ebinu bo modian so kuta 600,000 Ghana cedis and I would eba a son say 1,000 no 100,000 ebeko for nomination na impono a yadia 500,000 no or de acquire final filing ewo econom wachiremu a oba wo mo asue ye wo mo atan ye kese e won kra hanoma fa no ubenya bi na watimi afa ewo honom enen komodie sei and I woni addition mo epi NPP atitafo no edino
being 29th of July, in line with Article 13 of the New Patriotic Party's Constitution. I'm happy to announce to you that we have officially open nominations for our party members who aspire to become presidential candidates of our party for the 2028 elections. However, there are some guidelines that I need to bring to your attention. First and foremost, the presidential primaries shall be held on Saturday, January 31, 2026. And as I've indicated, nomination is open today, July 29th, 2025, and shall close on Thursday, August 28, 2025. An aspiring presidential candidate can procure the nomination forms after the payment of a non-refundable application fee of 100,000 Ghana cedis. So the application fees is 100,000 Ghana cedis. And it must be done through a banker's draft issued in favor of the New Patriotic Party, National Headquarters, Accra. Again, an aspiring presidential candidate shall pay a non-refundable filing fee of 500,000 Ghana cedis. And the payment must also be done through a banker's draft issued in favor of the New Patriotic Party, National Headquarters, Accra. To successfully file your nomination, an aspirant is required to pay a compulsory development fee that will be determined by the National Council. And the forms can be procured from the General Secretary's office here at the party headquarters. Indeed, in accordance with Article 13(1)(11) of the Constitution of the NPP and the motion on transitional clause adopted at the National Annual Delegate Conference, Accra, on Saturday, July 19th, the following delegates shall elect the party's presidential candidate.
So, yeah, we'll share Paramount News or Great Commission Television. So, you're Cassiano, important woman for how a hoodwo emu, Yeramu, Afram Plains. Now, woman for ya, womo a tea a month from Enafi Adoso, ya, womo, Danadanina, Umucha, Afram Usui, ya na, Pantu ya, a daswono, ya na, Ubeshe. Wo ha na engineer say na kan so ye ni saa omanfo how muni ade na nsantam ena mampani John Dramani Mahama ekọ aprobo na ne thank you to ya wo ko de pie mu ewo apoye mantemu no wo ko hye omanfo ibo se obebo modern pass obeye nsamso e de ato sa so yi so se de be ya omanfo betumi e de kai e de akoni aba ewo so na abra omanfo 14 ne se yi no omanfo bi a kire omadwen bi kire se da bi eye bo se sanse ananu bi abanda da bi e besi twemu e bo sha wo mo hye wo so wo ma ye bridge kura wiya nesa ene wo ne etuwe wo mo hunu ne se e bo se keke bi so kire se da bi awrehemu ya wo mo wo e wo mampani John Dramani Mahama mu no edi adanse pefe se waka no nko ade obeye de amom o manfo adwen kire bi ene
and John Dramani Mahama. That is because he said he has done some before.
Senior dada ne baya or dada yenu Mahama na wa ba sisi ane di ejini di si obetumi ayamai
for the time e ba esi ombeye bridge na want me anyanu we de me mu de me ni gide bia se bia we Mahama time nso de ombeye di because of sena first one ne ba na eye bibisa no we die agenya me ba
ye wo gide wa ba mu se wonya candidate obeye if say ye hwe se de oba betra adwaso no nani wo kwawu ha ni Afram Prince no ye de wo gide
ebe chenti minia nka me makuma so onye kwan no mayansa
se oma kan ya hwe ani mu anso emba nti no so ntu na ama ka se bia me ni gide se obetimaye
so ye dia eyemaye but me de me ni gide se ebitima ba se aban bebri aba ɔmantuma nyɛ
abaye deɛ me woni mu gidie pa nneɛma a wahyɛ aseɛ no menim sɛ obetimi ayɛ
mienu deɛ ɛbɛyɛ adwuma ɛkwan yɛyɛ ma yɛbɛboa yɛ paa sɛ yɛbrɛ wɔ so sɛsɛ a mebɛdu akora mabubu koraa nti ɔyɛ ma yɛbɛboa yɛ.
This particular party was also in the government before and they have come. I don't know if they will be able to do it because as for promise, it's a promise. It is the reality that we are looking for, but we will be very happy if it is done.
The kana omukwaji so mudi bridge amaye. Our man fanya no obia okwaji sa sikana wa divert sikana dia different no. Wa dinsa ato abrwadua nimu. Ba omis NDC and President John Dramani Mahama yabeya hwehwem ahwe ba bia sikana kwadi because omadi afran place for abro because sikano it was purposely meant for our bridge and we don't know the whereabouts of the money and to be an assassin bia no or question or answer mampanyi de sene waka wayo no waka say bridge no or the better swame and I mean say obeyen so enti a good news in the sense that we share a front place aduane free high kokruma enye aduane ketwa se a front place for yakase yam fa aduane enko Accra ni other towns are Ghana for bedakom Ghana for bedakom nti enunti enra and then last week Sunday o mampanyin ka say obeye afram bridge to afram so no simiya this ni de se ne mani ageno and I mean say President John Dramani Mahama de waka wayo nti se ne wanya kai de na chese no ma nyina de na kwan mu
nti John
Ebishia ye free hodo boy na ye konko pie mu ewo eye Bujumbura hodo mo na ye ko Gomwa East Mansino emu adehye no ma ewo eye Mazat down o mo kire mu a eba hodo mo ensuo ta wo mo bre papa enie gata kra ba bia ebi na hono kra ensuo ta ebetimi afemu na akọ entinsuo no eye se gugu a na chese ba bia bua faso a womo abo womo pani pa wono na ye bahye bedwane edema womo eye ready graft pay to amane senka animanimu ya womeboa womo na so ka me ase womo nsam no kura no se be wotie ye na so wamfa anya asem enti womo ede adesrede to gara mampani enim sesese de animanimu ya ensuo ye tutu a enya nyini tikasie womo mode a na womeboa womo enye bi fa ma womo se de be ya womo so masetina womo te ewo eye Bujumbura eye masha down no womo so ebenya emu enegye na etimi aboa womo ye madesede eto mpedifo
Zuta ayirpa na mi se mfebi ya frɛ ya MP no ya fɛ no mba ya kasa sa ya bre nti ya dwe se ka be jiska ada ya bad later no ya se yan ye be ya na se de ye no emboa nti ya frɛ asɛm man se on bra ba to na hwɛ no mba ye nti yenso ya kan ho dwum se de be ya era na ntumpo no na ya pese ye ye o hwɛ a nso to ahayire nkwa ntumi ko school ekwa no so ekwa no so esi ese mi ka mi je bibia mi je nga road no so esi omba yugota no omo de gukwa no so eno so aka nko so bi yare sia ese moto bodo so ntumi mfa nti na meja mi we afro mi say mu bra na ya fa tu ya man ojoma ma enim se da ba ya o mabua ye ira ha no ye bre pa na nsu
data na eda ha no metimi aka se sebi eye odi ewu ankasa odi ewu ebi se akola bi tom sese ya ye nti asempa
se kwan no se bibia ka nko ka ma nkwa ntumi nko school je be sra aban se aban emra meboaye
na MP no so o hye o se metuma no Desmond ya to aban ma twa we na twa ye kakra na ina ye kam ho bi won fa wona siampo no opin 47 mitini be gina be to aban ma di line mu e be twa be na eche na wo hye ho na so be family mi ba brother wo hye ye
MP Desmond baby campaign bia oba promise de kasa de oh mamusro emoji abe mutuma mi aya me bua mutu ye ba oh endu amat kra me de me be shase o ya win ya hu ne voice client ye ntimi nka
MP no ontwa na nipo e ma ha e mehwe say na ato yen campaign time money ndi agro say obeba ha
a new mayor emami excavator na yedi bedreji drainage na ewa ha no abone humo ndi pa no bia no betumi enye hankwa na yetumi address gutters no ye call 10 communities we can I mean say this is a 6th community na ya be ye call 10 communities but the me man for no so e kan no e no kre mabehu the me pese me and say me the district engineers no beba ha na officially no na ya throw their comma mayor no na me koso a me nkwa me nko many community leaders no beko me akome ye no ho na we go and have a discussion here so that we will see the way forward
Suta ayirpa na me say mfebi ya frɛ ya MP no ya fɛ nomba ya kasa sa ya bre nti ya adwin sɛ ka be disika ada ya bad later no ya se yan ye ba ya na sɛ da ye no emboa
nti mama na no hwani adehye no mo ebia wo mo ewo eye gomwa masa down e na hunu sɛ wo mo e kasa no bujumbura mo kyerɛ mu a ensuo to ana wo mo ho akyerɛ wo mo ntiaban emra wo mo ensa ba mu e bo hye be gyina wo mo nsam so na ye twɛ ho tia wakɔgya aboafo nkrato aba ye ba ye do bɛkɔ ensa foforo emu enye fidie no emfi ha no ye nkɔ ne emra sisia
Anyano ne adafo me de nkyira sonko e de mu obi biara saamre ohwe me wo kasamfoni eso me din de nana otafrija owusu ageman me ne kwankyerefo a me da time heba ano ene de adura to din time heba me sha ye de aba dwama so ene ba bia be fa bia drugstore eba shop pharmacy shop ba bia de kan sa time heba me sha ni abone mran se TIME wasa kaisa time no TIME juma edie ne se malaria fever me pa cho wo bi a wako hospital na lab ni aka cho malaria fever na se 3D e wo mogya mu dia adura wo behia e time heba mesha time heba mesha ne ade a wonya bi na no no ma ebeboa yi saa malaria parasite no afiri woni padua no emu ne nam se ntu bo sina num ato ontumi ni di obu okura otumi ka se me de me soro kwampa mentekom obesoro ne wa eboho obu abo so obesoro na awode no ebeduru awia no wate esi ebeduru numre na wasan eda ho bo sina no ho na epusi chechechechecheche obenya penkra bi awe ebeduru numre na wasan eda ho pepa cho oyo bi a wutie me na wo hwe me ya bo maden na koto sa tam heba me shaibi kokoto aduru bi na so aduru hwe ne hu dwuma tam heba me shan edie sanse aduru ne aduru a wono ma ebo ma otumi didin ebo ma otumi anumsuo ebo ma otumi adwunso yare we kwampa betena fidie so na manka na so usu aduru na ekọ dane dade meta kan se nyankopon ene se yade ayar safiri onyankopon na so de adua tam heba mehyamu to onya binano no ma betu abo papa obo abo so ase na ase ehyehye no ne honam edwa no okoto kete so a ontumi na nani begu so saa ma ade ache menua ba me papa me maame a wotie be ya ade a emwa obo kwa dare dabo se na ne pressure na ewo soro obo kwa pressure dada ya ma ne nu a wonom na so na ewo soro ade ntrebi obako hospital obako akwa check no na ne malaria parasite na akosoro ne sent na cover saa o how na ade abre no me pacho wotie me abomaden na no nom time heba me shane bi obetimi dia waduro nom na no pa awia ane anumre na ebeboa madane da wanya apomde soronko emri maame bi ne me kasai woso on time ba me shan empare wada krokran pa wanum bi se woto akwa no anya bi anom a na no honam yere basabasa sanse no kwasem se de nubra enu tahini ne haha hodo ene ayatwetwum nsuo na de time heba me shano na adwuma edie ne de me pacho esewani esese e ka kire ni nyina ne se wabeto aduro bi na waso aduro na wo dwuma aduro no edie sanse mpanifo se wiase mu obi beko abeka kire wa ente se wa akohu sanse wani sama yense opreka bomade ne bowura drugstore eba shop okwa ankasa meto aduro bi akeke okwa also petam heba mesha obu aye ka ne se won fa aduro ne din entritrim obeko drugstore eba shop no afi no kwa kire ma kire ho ametesiro obi kasa na wo kire me yade pa no waka ho asem no yebebu sanse ye aduro bi o se aduro ne de me wura fi afi ni akofa aduro bi ane de ama no da ne da sam ta kan se emperenfo sa kokɔ ne mapema wo nyina ne pɛ ne nso so bia ne ntakra na ma kokɔ ya kasi o na so ntakra bɔ ne de fanyinam kwatre kwa wo beto aduro na aduro ne ntimi mboa ne de ka wa nto aduro ne krampo ankɛyɛ ne sentra meka fo tam heba mesha meka fo de amasa bomade na nunum bi na ya de a ebeto aboa papa ama wo nso watumi ade ho wo wa akra wo boarding house ofrinfie du mienu ekwa wo toto ye ne provision wo toto ne ma akwa na school mu no na wato tam heba mesha ne bi na wo de akwa no sanse mprepi no wo fia ne afrew na wo ba ne yare o na aba na waye hoya na wo ba no se ka nyame nko anka bibi yaye no mesro no tam heba mesha ne bi a wo to bi de ma na ya de a ebetumi aboa no enu akire ye de tam HH herbal capsules and afi ye de ne mesha so no ye de aba edwama so no na ye duro no betuma no capsules so no anase ne mesha no na obi bisa say HH herbal capsules ana ne mesha no dwuma be na edie broni ka bi say general well-being na ya kasa ne je say nipa efiri wo na se kopumutin onu madura etime boa wo esiesie ho brasses ene red brasses no amada ne dare e ba nya hode stronko na aboa ama kwatia yarewa ahodo me pacho yo obi a wutie me dane da yare bia baba bia no utumi nya bi dane da no na waye mbre na honam na waye boho a wono no tam HH haba misha anasa the capsules su bia e ya ade a ebeboa ama so watumi aden ho me pacho ye be ma na se wutie me wodwonso na obe mam ehyehyew ensansa na begugu be ma ho a obokura bosina moja na efirimu na eba no tam HH haba misha anasa the capsules no obokura ha bosina honam no ase bibi ne nanam na wana mu na so bro ade nsa kan ohunu hwe obobo sasene di kosua asene trima se kokodwie bi ene na mu me patcho no tam HH haba misha anasa the capsules no bi ni padodo na na yusu aduro no bi ama danse a wudi fa aduro ho no enya asem ketwa me patcho yo oba na se wutie me obo sran so na nsuo na efiri wase na eba obo ha na bosome so a efiri okoro bo se nsuo na egu no obo abo se na enka wom me patcho nya tam HH haba misha anasa the capsules no bi a ebebo yisa o ha we afiri ho esa beboa ama ware aso emperefo so obanyansane yeburumbe na yenka nasam timpacho yo ba na wutie mi a fatam ba mesha anase tam HH ba mesha na capsules ne bi fire waduro na yade a entimi emwa ebehia masaka wonom tam ba mesha no na kare tam HH ba capsules anase ne mesha no eka ho na ebasade a eboa papa emba wapomde ne timi CP isita Bora Drugstore Herbal Shop Pharmacy Shop ye number egu screen no so betimi ahwe na wafre yen number ye 0244 417 669 0244 417
no eko amahodo so ensem emu na Russia man no asoma topaye ama amfaye akote afam ewo Ukraine biaya womo ewo enaduafie baako ewo honomo a akote atom enam so ama enipa makomako edunson de womo afamu ahwere womo kwaye a eya rehosem pa emududo na so bese aduanan mienu de womo nyina eprepra epremu oten pa na Ukraine man no ani abre papa ya wohwe enaduafie ya ade yi ekotoye na biaya a omofre ho Zaporia honum ena sadi ekokotoye a aha otwen papa na empenifo ahodo a womo eda enaduafie ya no kire se ade ya akwedi ankoyi kwakwa chief of staff edema Ukraine man no eye Adre Yamek ade wakasa fa won ade a Russia yi woma kantokwacha ne ye woma kantokwacha ne ye papa sanse womu nim se babia duru na ka bibia edededin woma hunu de yeye ena woma san asoma sa atopa yeyi ama ababeto saa bia ho no mo mpenifoɔ ani abrɛ ho paa ya wɔn kasa ho sɛ baabi aduri ɛwɔ sɛ mpenifoɔ ɛmo mu so paa na wɔmutumi ɛkasa ho baabi a ɛkɔtɔɔyɛ ɛyɛ bia yɛfrɛ hɔ belenke ya ɛhɔ no mo ɛna atopa yɛ gya tɔɔyɛ nam so ama presidentfoɔ dodoɔ na ɛprɛprɛ Ukraine man no ani abrɛ sɛ ade a Russia yɛ yi wɔn nyae ɛma ne nkada
Hamishia free obi my so ensam emu na yema yedie emu na we die eye enije areho na no memende ya na babeto dwa senyum tuni Ghana nyomtofo ewo hano mo obi ebekasa wo bonyom pa na yekenka mo moto nyuma yenyi ni mfimu eye Charles Kwajofosu aka Daddy Lumba wotwa nani ehwe ban ewa beko wenya mfihia no aduosia enam so enti emade hye Ghana fo a sebe womo eka bie womu ne womo omodo no kire womo do de ache ne papa wenam so enti ama Ghana Music Rights Organization a etwanity ase Gamro akasa ena womo kire mu se de womo ete asebo no ebo womo pusa esanse womo ante se bia wo yare anase ne yade ne de no womo ne mu se de ne ho ato no na empofrem ena womo teye ya konsem ebi enkonfama ebusua sanso ena womo ehye se ebo no Daddy Lumba ne nyom ahodo oba ye bebo ye na empo no enam so ema ebimo enam ne nyom so de no werɛ ho na ne gye de empo sebe no wo kɔ ha bi mutimi yi ni free bo no za anwum nyina no eyade womo so behwɛ na womo akrakra ne yie pa womo ma no entwam dane de nyina no won be ma no awo hɔnom ene obi bɔkra na mpa wɔn sampa Daddy Lumba nyom ena eboy wɔn mu kyerɛ mu a enwom a ɛwɔ wɔn akoma so pa wɔn betimi akrakra na nkɛbɛyɛ wɔn de pa yie no eye empo Teresa saranso ena be wa ha ye Ethiopia ene empo enwom ahodo a wɔn hwɛ a wɔn betimi akrakra no wɔn abɔ ho ban ama no etimi agina hɔ no ene dane de nyina obi bɔ na sɛ enwom foforo no eno no betimi abɔ papa sanso ena busua ene empo adofo eye krado se wɔn ekojam no na kata na chikrakra wɔn enyi wɔn ho emfrim wɔn de ɔseɛ ene ɔyɔ ɛbɛbom na wɔn ne abusua akɔkojam wɔn de hyɛ ne kama enti ya consem enko enfama ebusua Ghana Music Rights Organization a yetwa se Gamro womo nsem ebia ene womo akọ ede ama Daddy Lumba ene na busua eno no ebusia na yebegina eno so na ensema ene nwumre ye boboa no Paramount News Great Commission TV so no ye de si ewo ahanom sei asidan confirm ena guard medicated toothpaste go same travel and tour Hola Savior Helper Center for Apostolic Ministerial Apprenticeship womo ene dwumako ahodo na ena kabo manwumre womo aboye chidom aso yasen ema ye de ensemu ede asmo Paramount News nso awoje brehwe ye efiafie mu YouTube ena wo hwe baby bia wo hwe ye mpiano aseda no ebi enko emfa emao ena nwumre ye a ya jepenie na empo ye bo modin de ensemu ebesumo se kase eye me na nekua achireba ata mene
Obahene Gofi Asampausa we na wase na yemamu enehwe